Welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're locking down the absolute critical first steps of project schedule setup, specifically focusing on configuring project calendars and timescale displays. Now, the source material introduces this brilliant concept of a foundational blueprint. And look, so often eager project managers just want to jump straight into listing out their work breakdown structure, assigning tasks, and building out the schedule. But honestly, jumping into your task lists without configuring these underlying setup steps first, it's literally like building a house on quicksand. If the software doesn't actually know when your project starts or what calendar it's supposed to follow, well, your entire plan is going to be fundamentally flawed right out of the gate. So we're going to lock that foundation in today.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, assigning the project calendar. Second, perfecting the start date. Third, customizing the timescale. And finally, mastering timescale tiers. We'll be moving smoothly from the macro-level data settings under the hood straight to the micro-level visual configurations right on your dashboard.
So, let's kick things off with Section 1, assigning the project calendar.
Now, you might have just spent a ton of time creating this beautifully customized working calendar for your team. But here's the thing, the software can't read your mind. Creating a custom calendar is totally useless until we explicitly tell the software to use it for our specific project. So how do we make that connection? We just need to follow a precise click path. Step 1, head up to your top ribbon and click the project menu. Step 2, right there you'll find a vital tool called Project Information. Go ahead and open that up. And step 3, look for the calendar dropdown. Now pay attention here, because by default the software lazily defaults to a calendar literally called Standard. Your custom calendar is not going to assign itself automatically. You have to manually select the specific calendar you just built. It's such an easy step to miss, but absolutely crucial.
Moving right along to Section 2, perfecting the start date.
Okay, so stay right inside that project information menu because we need to establish exactly when this project actually begins. And this brings us to our first major trap. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the contrast between the left and the right. Let's say we set our project to start tomorrow, May 20th. You've got to carefully look at the time displayed right next to that date. On the left, we see May 20th at 8 a.m. This is correct if and only if 8 a.m. is the exact start time of the working day established in your custom calendar, right? But if your calendar says work begins at 8 a.m. and your project information says 9 a.m., like you're seeing over on the right side, you've got a mismatch. You have to verify that your project start time perfectly mirrors the start time established in your custom calendar settings. So just to quickly recap these essential data entry steps. First, define the exact project start date. Second, verify that the start time matches your calendar settings flawlessly. And third, manually assign that newly created calendar. Boom! With those 3 tasks checked off, our foundation is officially poured. You can just ignore the rest of the complex scheduling options in that menu for now. We are ready to move from the invisible data under the hood over to the visual formatting.
Which brings us to Section 3, customizing the timescale.
All right, so now we need to format how we actually view the passage of time on our screen. Getting here is super simple. Step 1, just right-click anywhere in the visual timescale area right at the top of your chart. Step 2, select timescale from that pop-up menu. But step 3 is really where the magic happens. You want to navigate over to the tab labeled non-working time. And then step 4, assign the calendar again. Yes, you heard me right, assign it again. I really want to emphasize this because it's a critical, often missed step. You absolutely must assign the project calendar in this second location to ensure your non-working visual displays, those shaded background areas on your chart, are completely accurate.
And that leads us into our final section. Section 4, mastering timescale tiers.
Okay, now for the really fun part. We are going to take complete control over how the software divides and labels our timeline. So, what are timescale tiers? Basically, they're the customizable, stacked visual layers used to display different units of time across a project schedule. They are categorized simply as the top, middle, and bottom tiers. Now normally, when you just casually use the zoom in and zoom out tools, the software just applies its own default programming. But by manually opening this timescale formatting window, you completely bypass those defaults and give yourself absolute precision over these 3 tiers.
Inside that menu, you've got some incredibly powerful formatting options at your fingertips. You can choose from having 1, 2, or all 3 tiers visible at the same time. You can select specific time units, like years, months, weeks, or days. You can customize the label formatting for each of those units, and you can even adjust the count interval. But for today's foundational setup, we're actually going to stick to a really clean 2-tier display, featuring just the middle and bottom tiers. Keeps things simple and readable.
So the crucial point is establishing the golden rule of timescale logic. The upper tier must always represent a larger unit of time than the lower tier. I mean, it's naturally logical, right? You can obviously show months inside of a year, so that status is perfectly valid. You can show weeks inside of a month, so that's valid too. But you absolutely positively cannot show a month inside of a week. No way. That is invalid. The software will literally block you from breaking this rule.
But what happens when you are following the rules and the software still blocks you anyway? Let's look at this mini mystery from the source material. Picture a super frustrated user who has their upper tier set to months. Perfectly valid. They then go to their bottom tier and try to select weeks. Again, logically, totally fine. But the software rejects it. It just blocks the assignment completely. So why on earth won't the software let you assign weeks to the bottom tier when you've got months on top?
Well, prepare yourselves, because the hidden culprit behind this annoying software glitch is actually this single number right here. 7. That is your count setting throwing a wrench in the gears.
Let me explain the punchline here. Since the count setting dictates your interval, if your bottom tier was previously set to days and your count was set to 1, it shows every single day. Normal. But if someone previously went in and set that day count to 7, the software is now grouping time into 7-day intervals. So if you then try to switch the unit from days to weeks while that count is still stubbornly stuck on 7, the software just gets utterly confused. Basically, if the interval count is set to 7, there's nothing left to calculate for a standard weekly view. It breaks the internal logic. But the fix is delightfully simple. Just change that count back to 1. Resetting it to 1 instantly unlocks everything and lets you assign weeks right under your months.
And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate takeaway from this entire setup explainer. Setting up a schedule isn't just about dumping tasks into a list. It's about making sure the software's invisible data logic perfectly matches your visual display. As our source material explicitly reminds us, there are 2 places you need to assign the calendar. One is project information, and second is timescale. You really have to master both the data entry and the visual formatting to make this work. All right, so you've done it. You have configured your project calendar, aligned your start times, and perfectly layered your timescale tiers. Your foundation is perfectly set. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this provocative question to chew on. Once you start assigning your actual team members to this schedule, what happens if your rigid project calendar rules ever clash with an individual resource's personal availability? Which system wins that tug-of-war? It's a fascinating conflict for sure, and it's exactly why understanding resource management is the very next step in mastering your software. Keep exploring, keep structuring your knowledge, and we'll see you in the next explainer.
If you want to master Microsoft Project with practical construction examples, join the online professional certificate course of Onyx. Learn from industry experts and build job-ready planning skills. Limited seats available. Join now.